It's not something that again, I respect the Niners as our rival. That is why I want to talk about this. I have not seen other 49ers content creators talk about this. So again, I will never be a 49ers content creator. There's way better channels for that. Some of the 49ers, content creators out there are some of my favorite YouTubers. They're great guys. I've collabed with a lot of them, but I don't hear any of them talking about this. So I want to talk about this in my live stream. I'm going to clip this out as a video, but they have an awkward history of QB drama. It really is awkward. Okay, so you have the whole Jimmy G, Trey Lance thing where they trade up all these picks to get Trey Lance and put Jimmy G as the starter next year, but with the full knowledge that he's leaving this year. He had the shoulder injury. I get it. It's a weird drama. He's still with the team. Some think they're doing Jimmy G dirty. He's been a class act through everything. I don't have a strong opinion about that, whether they should cut him or wait for the trade. I don't know. But it is safe to say this is a weird quarterback situation. But if you go back to not too long ago, so you had obviously the Jimmy injury year here. They had the QB riding the QB carousel. Then Jimmy G's season where they made it to the Super Bowl. Then they had the 2 years of QB carousel in here as well. I guess in 2017 that was they traded for the second round pick to get Jimmy G, and 2017. So they had kind of from 2017 to 2019 some weird stuff going on. But then, pardon me, they had the Colin Kaepernick situation, and I understand that ended with some political nature, off the field stuff, some controversy, contribution to a larger conversation of our society. I get it, but again, a weird ending to a quarterback who started multiple years for them. But then go back even further than that. Alex Smith, who started a number of years, and I know Alex Smith had some rough years. He just had some terrible coaching in there, but he was a first round, number 1 overall selection for them, and he's had an interesting career in his own right. But he was playing well, and they got to the NFC Championship game. But then they drafted Colin Kaepernick and put him in, and again, just sort of a weird thing where it's okay, we have this solid, good quarterback, but we found someone that we think we're going to like better, so we're going to replace him. But then you go before that to the Jeff Garcia era, and who started multiple years for them, and he also kind of had this weird and he put up some decent numbers, and I know he had Terrell Owens, but towards the end of his tenure there, I remember seeing Jeff Garcia kind of admitted that it was tough playing in the shadow of Steve Young and Joe Montana at times. And I share all this just to say, and I'm going to bring this down. I share all this just to say, I think the 49ers are still living in the shadow of Joe Montana. Steve Young was able to get that one Super Bowl and kind of step outside that shadow a little bit. But I think all these long-term quarterbacks of the Niners are living in this shadow of this quarterback from the 80s and early 90s. And even though it's 2022, and I don't necessarily think that the 49ers are aware of oh, we've got to find the next Joe Montana, because they're just not going to find the next Joe Montana. But this is an organization that they have these weird, awkward endings to their quarterback. And there's other teams. I know Rams, we've had our share of weird, awkward quarterback moments and endings, but not nearly in the same pattern as the 49ers. And even you look at the Sam Bradford trade with Nick Foles, I felt that got handled pretty well. I think the Jared Goff trade got handled better, even though it was awkward like it got handled way better than this Jimmy G Trey Lance situation. And I think that the 49ers just need to figure out how to, you know, operate not just on the football, you know, draft picks for proven players sort of things. There's that business element to the game. But I think at times they're maybe forgetting the human aspect of being an NFL team. You know, here you have a guy like Jimmy G who's been a class act. He knew you drafted his replacement. And instead of complaining, he put his head down and he grinded and he got you to an NFC championship game. Do him a solid, release him. And maybe you're like, okay, I don't want to do that because of the money. I get that. But it seems like you're going to have to release him anyway. Anyway, that's all I have to say about it. If you're a 49ers fan or Rams fan or any kind of fan, let me know. Do you think the 49ers are doing Jimmy G dirty? Because, like, this guy literally has been such a class act. Just move on if you're going to. Because it seems like you have this history of these awkward endings with your starting quarterbacks. And I don't know. It's just something I've noticed. So that's all I have to say. That's my rant about it. I am looking forward to seeing Trey Lance as a football player. I think it's going to be exciting. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think about the 49ers? That's my rant there. And I'm going back to the comments to chat.